from just outside the perimeter of Atlanta, Georgia, where we played Miggy in the middle. Still did very little.
Yes.
It is the 5 Takes podcast. And we are back.
We're back.
Like,
Sort of.
I don't know, like Harry Kane winning trophies, even though that's not really a back. But the man finally got himself
No, that's a first.
It's a first.
It's a first.
Congratulations to Harry Kane. He posted on his Instagram just an image of emoji of a trophy, and that was it. And then he took a little live video of the team singing "We Are the Champions." I'm happy for him.
Seems like he would have a bigger reaction than that.
Took you long enough.
I know.
And you went to the one league in the one team where you were just all kind of automatically guaranteed a trophy at Bayern. Couldn't get it done in the first year, but you got it done now by a comfortable margin. So
yeah, I mean, well, and he was going to, like,
eventually, yes.
Eventually, over there,
if he didn't,
he was going to.
It's
not exactly the most difficult league to win.
That would be the ultimate Spurs curse, which Jennifer could speak on a little bit. She'll be joining us in a little bit. She's stuck in traffic. We just decided to get this show on the road without her. Hi, I'm Glenn. Kat's here tonight if you aren't watching the video and you're just listening to the audio version. And you are back for another therapy session with 5 Takes. We appreciate you for sticking through.
Listen,
you know,
but we have very little good to say, but at the same time I think we're at least attempting to be more objective about it.
I have plenty of good to say.
It's just analytical. And we try not to do that because that's not really our thing here on the 5 Takes. We analyze it our own way because
it's more about how we feel the game, how we saw the game.
Right.
We leave the deep dive analytical stuff.
Right. We leave most of the numerical stats to other people.
I mean, we incorporate some of it, but it's more about how we see it from just a fan's perspective. We're fans, first and foremost.
So,
and if you're listening to this, you're a fan as well, and you're experiencing the same level of frustration and pain that we are.
The only analytics that we have, we have to be. It's based on the feeling. Right. It's based on what we think is happening, what we think is going on.
Right.
And
however,
I don't want to say that we're grasping.
I'm not grasping tonight. Like we decided in our group chat that we're gonna have a designated optimist, and that I'm gonna go ahead and take that mantle tonight. I'm going to be our designated optimist for this pod. I will be your dedicated optimist for the next 60 minutes here. If you're listening to us, which again, we really appreciate. Like, we don't take it for granted, I promise you. The interactions, the comments, the listens, the views, all of it. We didn't take it for granted before when we were maybe doing a little bit better. And we certainly don't take it for granted now that we're doing a whole lot worse. Because, we have to do going forward is not let the state of this team be the thief of joy. We have built something too positive, too wonderful, the community around this thing to let it be teared down and destroyed and ruined by something as silly as losses and results. I refuse. This means too much to me. What this has become since its inception in 2015. It's brought too much joy into my life, too many lifelong friendships. Whether you like it or not, we're friends for life. You signed the contract. You inked the deal.
I know.
And I'm just not going to let it be that way. I'm just not.
So then what are we going to do? What are we going to do to keep it from stealing our joy? Because
I kind of thought about trying to do like a Mystery Science Theater 3000 kind of live watch along and just poke at the team. But that doesn't feel good either. But listen, I'll be real. Last night, I was hopping mad.
But what were you the most mad about? Let's talk about that.
The final whistle blew, and we're all disappointed. And then we start walking over to the other sections to go watch the unified team, which was great, and we'll talk about that tonight too. There's your positive thing that we can. It was a draw.
It was a draw that felt like a loss because these days anything other than a win feels like a loss
for sure, especially considering where we're at. So we walk over to section 35 or whatever in the club seats,
something like that. Sure.
Sit down. Waiting for the unified team to come out, and I see the team put out the the graphic, the full-time graphic.
Right.
And
The hype.
yeah.
The hype.
Yeah.
The hype.
And I'm looking at it.
Picture,
I'm looking at it right
the hype
now.
picture.
And it says 5 stripes, 1 city. Point secured. Oh, God.
And it's a picture.
Oh,
and it's
man.
a picture as if taken from like underneath the circle of everybody putting
their fists in together. Point secured. Right. Well done, boys. Ice cream and orange
look
slices.
What we did. Yeah. And it's everybody around us. Yeah. Glenn was livid, and we were showing it to everyone around us, and everybody was and I think the gentleman who was sitting right in front of us literally said, "It's not point secured, it's 2 points lost." Guys,
I'm really glad that we record typically a day after. I don't think I should have come on that night, and I've had some time to think about it, and I'll say a few things on it.
We generally find more objectivity.
Right, I calmed down a little bit, cooler heads prevail type thing.
Right.
But when I saw that, I was like, oh my goodness.
Talk about missing the fucking point.
Also, incredible play by Aussie Albies there
know.
just now. We're watching the Braves versus Dodgers at the same time we're doing this. Incredible outfield play there. That was wonderful. Wonderful grab by him to put Freddie Freeman out. Hi, Freddie. How you doing, bud? Anyhow, so with this point secured thing, I'm just like, listen, what have we been talking about since this terrible skid started, really after the Montreal match? It's been downward since then, is mentality.
Culture.
Mentality.
Culture and mentality.
Culture and mentality. We talk about it time and time again. And I was like...
mentality begets culture.
Correct.
You know what I mean? The other way around.
And I was just like, that's not it. That's not it.
Missing the mark,
I reposted this with our takes, and I said, it's 2 points lost. We are not aligned. Top to bottom, this is not the mentality. We'll talk about it tomorrow night. Drop your own takes on this amazing point we secured. Yeah, I was full on snarky, raging mad, because that's not it. And look, I'm not trying to pile on social admin and wield my keyboard sword. I hate that shit, right? Like, they got a job to do just like everybody else, and they're not responsible for the performance of the team. But it's something Jack talked about last year, midsummer, when I was on hiatus, and y'all were running these things. He talked about the fringes, right? The little things outside of the wins and losses performance of the club, the other little details that a sports club, I don't care what sport, what club, needs to get right. And I'm talking about everything from, like, the grounds crew, cook staff, game, like all of it. Everybody needs to be aligned, and that didn't seem like it. You say point secured when you go out west and your flight is delayed by 5 hours, and you grab a point from LAFC. Point secured. Well done. You don't say that when you're at home and you haven't won at home and you've only scored 1 goal in April. Like, it just made me really, really angry to say that's good enough. Now, I've cooled down a little bit, and I get the other angle that it could be looked at as, we got to have something positive here. Like, we got to hold on to something, right? So you put that out, and maybe that was the alignment. Everybody agrees, hey, if we come out of here with a point, we're going to be happy-ish with that. Personally, I wouldn't be. What I want to see more of is the club being real and saying that's still not good enough. I would love to see us score a goal, and even if we're up by a goal, grab that ball out the net and get back to halfway and go again. That's where I want to see. I want to see that hunger and desire. Not good enough, because this is nowhere near good enough. But I'm glad we didn't record last night, because I would have had a few more choice words to say. Another great outfield play. The Braves are doing it tonight. So I'm happy that we record a night later, because that just made me hopping mad. And most of the posts on it from other people that were commenting on that were saying the same thing. Like, come on, admin, like a little more tact there, you know?
And it's a little bit, it's humility.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got to be humble.
We need to have a little bit of humility
and
be a little bit more humble about the status of our current situation.
That's what I want.
Because you're not fucking fooling anyone.
We're not fooling anybody.
With a post like that. Yeah. If anything, it kind of feels like a slap in the face.
A little.
Because everybody watching, and everybody, whether you were at home whether you were listening to to Jason's, whether you're listening to the call, I can only imagine, or if you're actually at the game and you're feeling the atmosphere or even lack thereof one, everyone is feeling the same thing. We all know the status of the team, okay?
Yeah.
So this fake, it felt fake. It felt forced. Every time they put out these hypes, the media managers put out these hype videos or these,
just say point split. That's it.
Yeah.
And go to bed.
You can even say hard fought draw.
I don't even want that. Just say it's a draw.
I know, but you could. Okay? But to try and put they're just trying to put a positive spin on a shit situation. And I just think it missed the mark.
I disagree with I'm aligned with you. I did not like it. I would like to see us, by us, I mean as a club, top to bottom.
I know.
Dispense with the big club talk, with the all of that, with the unite and conquer and domination and all this stuff until we have earned it. We can get back to there. We are not there. We haven't been there in some time. And I would like us a little humility and get humble a little bit and recognize where we are, because the other approach of talking big club, top four, all this stuff has gotten us nowhere. It's gotten us nowhere, and it's time to get real and be real and level with the fans, and let's just not do that anymore.
And it just feels cheap. It just feels cheap.
Yeah. Yep.
Because I guarantee you nobody walked out of that stadium last night feeling like, hey, man, we got a point.
No.
Yay!
I didn't see anybody flexing.
No.
I didn't see anybody
flexing. That's what, that's
feels
a big
like
part
a
of it. We don't need to be flexing on a fucking draw when we can't buy wins right now.
Yep.
We don't, it's not a flex, guys.
Yep. Speaking of flexible, if you are, there's my Mason Mill. I tried.
Whoa.
I tried to segue it. I tried to.
That's good.
This is what happens.
I like it when I force the segues and I don't even need to.
See, listen, Jennifer's not here.
Are you a flexible or even a flexicalf?
Not only am I the designated optimist for the evening, now I have to take care of the segues as well, which I'm not as adept at. And Jennifer's not here yet. So let's go ahead and thank Mason
Completely glossed over my stupid joke, by the way.
Oh, you've heard us talk about him many, many times. Best chiropractor in town. And how about this? When we were on with the Mixtape guys on their pod, on Mixtape 615 earlier in this week, shout out to those guys. We love them and appreciated them having us on. And it was good to have Logan in town too. They are also sponsored by a chiropractor up in Nashville. How about that? Huh? Ours is better, though. Give them a call, 404-321.
Ours is
it's
local.
321-0082. Local in Decatur, Georgia, off McConnell Mill Drive. Give them a call. Get set up with an appointment with Dr. Cohen or Dr. Miner. It's very easy to do. You can also do it online at masonmillchiro.com. Promise it will be a very good thing that you do for your health, and it's going to be way better than what Mixtape's chiropractor is. For sure. It has to be, right? Has to be. I hope so. Mixtapes out there. This is a bigger city. Poor sponsors out here catching strays for no good reason. I kid. We love them. We love anybody who's supporting them, and it's all love between us. And go check out that episode. I'll post that link to their show in the show notes, and go have a listen to them. And even though it's post match, listen to the preview of it. We had a good time. Talked a lot of other things than just our two teams. It's good to hear their perspective on things. They have their view on us and where we're at. We have our view on them and where they're at, and it's good. It's good banter, and we appreciate them. Yeah, and for sure. And it's not a rivalry of where like we dislike them for who they are as fucking people. I'm happy for them. I don't even dislike their team. No. I don't find I have a problem with even like Hani Mukhtar. And I don't really have a problem with any of their players. Say, that's very big of us, considering they derailed everything with their stupid pitch up in at Nissan Stadium, is where everything started with them. Well, and we don't harbor any ill will. We're so big. We're able to let go and move on. Yeah, it's a little we're piety right now. Mean, there was a little bit of shithousery going for sure. Right there at the end. But you know what? But generally, it doesn't. Generally speaking, I don't have any problem. It definitely doesn't feel like playing Philly or Red Bull or Orlando, any of those. There are moments in the match, and we get heated. But
And like until
yeah.
this year with Zaha and his attitude, I didn't really have a problem with anybody on
Oh,
on Charlotte's
Charlotte.
squad
Charlotte
either.
now for me, it's on site. Like it's
Yeah,
on
for
site.
sure.
Yeah.
No, no, no. And I
Yeah.
know as soon as I walk in the
It's
stadium, I'm
on
like,
site.
"Ugh."
It's on
No,
site
I
with
get
Charlotte
you.
now.
But I'm saying until this year, I didn't really have any issues with any of their players either.
Yeah.
But it's, I have like a complete, just generalized distaste for every single person on those other three teams.
Agreed.
So, yeah. So
All
it's
right.
really nice to have it's a friendly rivalry.
Yeah,
That's what it
for
is.
sure.
It's like when Chelsea plays Liverpool.
Hey, we won. Appreciate
I
that.
know. We let you win.
Yeah, kinda.
We
Kinda.
kind of
Just
did.
let me have it, man. Just let me be happy.
I'm letting you have it.
Just let me
A win's a
bask,
win.
man.
And you know what?
Let's
Here's
go.
the thing.
Yeah.
We could have just let you have the one or even the two and then like swapped out everybody and brought in all of our heavy hitters. But he didn't do that
No.
because he didn't have any intention. He was like, we're going to go out, we're going to try, we're going to see how we do. But he had every intention of playing the kids or the people that needed to play.
Yeah.
And you did have some of the kids on there. You said, where are the kids? There was a couple. And unfortunately, it happened to be the one that led to two of the goals. But I thought he did the right thing. He got Chiesa on, who needed one more appearance in order to get a medal for the year.
That's nice.
I don't know how much he truly contributed over those.
Hey, look, you're there. You get the
minutes.
medal. Go for it.
Yeah, I know, but they'll probably move him on in the summer. Honestly,
Yeah, well, we'll see.
There's a couple of other people that will move on too,
Sure.
but you guys needed to win by a 3-goal margin to get even with Newcastle.
We still got
and
time.
You did that.
We still got time.
And you did that. And
Well,
it's not
we
that
didn't
you
win by
needed to
3-goal
by
margin. We
3.
won.
You needed to
We
score
won by
3.
we won by 2. So we still have some work to do and 6-point games for the rest of us.
Yeah, for
Newcastle and
differential,
Forest coming up for
right.
Chelsea. So it'll be interesting.
It puts you even. Yeah. So you have an opportunity to
We
overtake
do.
them.
I think we'll be. I think we'll be okay.
weekend.
I think we'll be okay. But hey, you were talking about the kids.
And I would actually hope because we're playing Arsenal next weekend, and they're gonna have to do the Guard of Honor with us too.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Actually, I would hope that we would play our starting 11 next week. But the worst thing would be for somebody to get like injured, like poorly injured, like some kind of like super awful, knock on wood, like ACL tear or something like that. Yeah. So I actually don't even care. If we lose the rest of if we lose the last 3 games, so be it. As long as nobody gets injured. I would rather not lose against Arsenal.
I think you're pretty satisfied.
But I think that the lineup that we saw today is probably pretty close to what we'll see the rest of the season.
Fair enough.
Which is fine. Which is also fine.
You were talking about
some of the other kids. They need some more experience. I liked what Slot had to say about that. He said he wants, there's some kids that are going to go on and play for the national team, and so they need to get some minutes on the pitch, stuff like that. So it's a sign of a really good coach, which we may be sorely lacking.
Maybe, but
because it seems that in an effort to get the guys some sort of, I guess, camaraderie to try and get them to gel.
Yeah, let's hold on that for a minute before we get into that. I've been desperately trying to segue into the kids.
We're not grasping,
no,
but he is.
I'm sort of grasping. I'm grasping at a segue into the kids to talk about something positive. I've been trying to do it for like the last 4 minutes since you mentioned the kids, because I do want to talk about the unified team, because that's the reason we all went to yesterday's match.
Do it for the kids.
That's why we went, and it was great. Good tifo. Happy that the turnout was very good. Hundreds were there. Good support from both sides, from Nashville and Atlanta. And it's an important thing that, look, there's a lot of things we don't like about this club and the situation, but one thing we have done well is unified team, and also the kids in general. Twos and the academy has always been pretty good. It was fun. I do wish that we would go back to what we've done in the past with the unified team and making the pitch just a bit smaller. It's a lot of ground to cover.
I feel like
for
it's
these guys.
Asking a lot,
and it actually results in not a lot of goals and shots, and it's just a lot of like long passing and stuff, because that's just so much ground.
And it's a long way for even if they get a ball or if it's some kind of breakaway, it's a long way to ask some of those
I mean, look, if we can give a
players.
smaller
I'm going to
pitch
say
to
there's
the
a lot of
media
players to run.
team
Yeah.
game, surely we can do this for our unified teams, because that pitch on the Benz is, man, it's huge. If you're not going to games in person and you get down there, like, that's a long way to run. And these kids are fit. They're fit for sure. But it does result in a little bit more exciting play. And all the kids want to score goals or save a shot or block a shot. And more of that happens in a condensed area.
That is 100% what it is. That's 100%.
Still a great experience. Still wonderfully positive. Yeah. Still the reason we went. And happy that it happened. I'm happy that there's more games happening this year. There seems to be more emphasis, not less, going into this thing. And that's something I give the club a lot of credit for, and they deserve. So
yeah, and if anybody is thinking about attending the opposite match,
right?
We really, I think that's the one that's up in Nashville.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Correct.
I really encourage any and everybody to go, because it seems that, unfortunately, Atlanta's response and support for the unified team seems to be the exception and not the rule. And that's a pity, because these players deserve every bit as much of support as the first team gets. And Atlanta seems to be, like I said, we're the example. We're what everybody should aspire to.
Hopefully it catches on. Hopefully the Nashville supporters who were here take that experience back with them and say, hey, guys, make sure we stick around. When they come.
That's what I'm saying. Any kind of bit of an encouragement that we can give to anybody that does end up going up for the Nashville match, stick around. You're going to be there anyway. I guarantee you've probably gotten yourself a hotel room. So stick around, support the unified team, and then come back. And you know what? Any Nashville people, you could say, it's not like you have to pay anything extra. You're already there. Support the players that deserve and need the support.
Yeah.
Spread the word.
Agreed.
The proverbial word.
Agreed. All right.
But kudos to the Atlanta supporters. I will say
chanting the whole time, drums, multiple capos, created an atmosphere. There was an atmosphere for these kids the whole time.
And we always do that. And it's really fun to listen with the small amount of people that are in there. It's really fun to listen to the chants echo throughout the Benz. Because I'm telling you, it's still a hell of a place to be. That is for sure. It is still a unbelievable stadium. So
yeah,
there's still been more wins there by Atlanta United than there has been by the Falcons. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well,
it's true.
Yeah, I just don't feel like bragging on it right now. I'm not gonna dunk on the Falcons right now. I'm not dunking on anyone.
I'm looking at the history of a 9-year franchise versus the history of a 30-year franchise.
I know what you're getting at. All right. Well,
we have more championships.
Back to sad stuff, but real stuff. Not going to try and be morose about it, just going to be real about it. But before we get into our takes, we do want to get into everyone else's thoughts and takes on this. So
yeah, what do you got?
I want to start off with the ones we received on X. Starting off with Mark Bertram, at Mark D. Bertram. He thinks this team is so much better with Miggy playing the 10 versus the 8. Versus on the wing.
It's odd. I think we know that.
They look like a competent team for the first time in a long time. Say what you will, but the team is better this way. I pushed back a little bit on that, had some conversation back and forth, because, I mean, did we? We got one goal and he created no chances. None. Neither did Moranchuk. Yeah. So, I mean, I think we on this pod would all be inclined to agree that yes, Miggy playing centrally, Saba on the right, Alexi deeper is a better way to go. But the stats are what they are. It didn't do. It's in the title, y'all. Like, it didn't do what we kind of all thought. My hand raised. It would. It didn't. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't do it going forward.
Well, and we don't. And it's not. Here's the thing. I don't want him to keep changing it up.
Correct. I want to stick with this
and fucking stick with it.
I want to stick with it. I do, but I'm just being real. The stats are what they are. It didn't result. It didn't. It just didn't. And we have to hope that maybe it will in the future. This is only the 1.5 times we see it. We made the adjustment halfway in New York. Still don't know about Jay on the wing, but we're thin on left wing right now.
Extremely thin.
So, Janday's gone. You got Mosquera. I know Jay's capable, and God love him. He's out there busting it, and he came back central after Mosquera came in for that sub, and he kind of dropped back to his normal Jay Fortune position in midfield.
I want to ask you about that.
Yeah.
I want to ask you your opinion on that.
Okay, sure.
Why? And this is something when we were pondering the left wing situation. Do we just think that Mosquera doesn't have the legs to last 90? Is that what we think?
Maybe
because
not.
He seems to be a natural left winger.
Yeah, agreed.
So why are we not?
Hey, look.
And he has had some pretty.
If I'm making the lineup, I'm
goals from that position. Why are we not playing him?
I'm starting him.
Jay is not the answer.
I'm starting him.
I'm starting him next week.
I'm starting him.
Now he didn't finish those chances. The two
it's true.
really good balls over the top. But hey, you know what? There were only two of those, and he only had 10 minutes.
I agree. I start him.
I'd like to see him start, and maybe he gets.
I agree.
Maybe he gets 10 of those and is able to put one away. I don't know.
No disagreement here. I would like to. But let's keep this lineup. But I'm just being real in terms of the stats. It wasn't a flip switch type moment like we kind of maybe thought it would be. I mean, I even got a little cocky and tweeted out, as soon as Miggy scored, I'm like, oh, look at that, centrally scoring, shocking.
Hey, what a thing!
But it didn't kick on from there. At FTC UTD, I was just wondering if we don't do that, do what instead? One intentional game with this can't be all it gets. So he also wants to, or they also, I don't know, boy or girl, if they're stick with it. We should, if we're willing to play Alexi as a 10,
as a 6.
For so many times.
Okay.
And it hasn't worked out. If we're willing to give that enough grace,
right? Let's go 10
let's
more
give this
games.
a grace.
Let's give this 10 games
agreed.
And see how it goes.
Yeah, agreed.
It's just like I said last pod too. Is like, did he watch? Has he seen any of the 2018 or 2017 season?
Yeah, all good. Yeah.
I don't know why.
I know.
I don't know why it wouldn't be automatic.
Well, I have some empathy for it because this is where he played at Newcastle, and he played at Newcastle for much longer than he did here on the wing.
But let's look at why he played there at Newcastle.
I understand all that. Like it's
because
fair.
that was the position that was open to
correct.
him.
That's where he played there. I'm just trying to give a little grace to say, okay, if you wanted to, I see your reasoning. I disagree with it. That's all.
Sure.
I see the reasoning. It's not without reason. I don't think it's with good reason. That's all. So,
right.
Anyhow, at 110 M32, Homer, Garth has a famous saying, if you need 2.0 points per game, then it's impossible. We are currently needing 1.83 points per game to make top 4. He's not saying Ronnie should go, but something's got to change. And
1.83 points per game. So we're looking at a draw or better for the rest of the season.
Somewhere along those lines. We've dug ourselves a hole. And he's also confused why we dropped off after scoring and almost started bunkering. I don't have an answer for that. But look, even Jason and Mike Conti, especially, I was shocking from Jason because he's always the kind of voice of reason and just let's take our foot off the gas for a moment here and let's be objective. Even him at the end of the full time yesterday, at the end of when the whistle went, Mike was like, I got nothing, and Jason is saying wholesale changes are needed.
Yeah,
that's tough, man. That's tough. He's not he's not a hot taker. He's not.
No, I know. And the problem, we're starting to get to that weird Braves win. We're starting to get to that point.
Hey, Russell Iglesias, go on, son.
I know.
I'll take a 4-3. Yes, sir.
We're starting to get to that weird point in the season, right?
Yeah.
Where we're not quite at the international break. We're not at the summer trade window. We're not there yet.
Yeah.
But what is, remember we talked about that. What is the point of no return for Ronnie for big changes, And who makes the decision as a franchise to get rid of Garth if that's the change that needs to be made? I don't see that happening.
Well,
soon.
that's Uncle Arthur and the whole operation.
If they're going to do that, I know, but if that's a change that they're going to make, that change happens in the off season.
Yeah, we're not
That
firing
they're not going to
president right
make. They're
now.
not going
No,
to
no,
do
no, no,
anything
no,
like
no.
that.
Coach, sure,
And
but not.
to be honest with you too, because they just brought in Hendo, I do not think it's going to happen this
I
year.
don't either.
I think he gets. I think he gets
I
another
think
season.
Ronnie might, but I mean that's Garth's guy. Like it's his first coach that he's hired. I just there will be a breaking point. Like if we go to Chicago and shit the bed and come home and shit the bed against Philadelphia, I just don't think you can ignore that noise for that long. But we'll see. Spread.
I am with anybody that has already said. I don't remember who is. I don't know if it was Jennifer or maybe it was Amy that said it. I'm trying to remember who said it, that we don't want to become, or maybe it was even you. We don't want to become the franchise that is constantly just firing their coach in the middle of the season. But and here's the other thing. What do we do? If we fire Ronnie, where do we go? What do we do?
Well,
we don't have Glass.
I mean, there's
we
people...
don't have help me.
Yeah.
From last year. We don't have Rob. We don't have Valentino. We don't have Glass.
We have
a
couple. We have still a couple assistant coaches that are still here, but we don't have those guys. I hear you. I know. I'm sure there is a contingency plan in place.
If not, they're probably rapidly putting one together.
Yeah, they might be.
Because a draw is not going to do it.
No, it's not. And
there was a really, really good draw, then maybe, but it wasn't that good. Now, I don't think that everybody was bunkering in the second half to just
no, we weren't
to get back
bunkering.
To
we just weren't.
Well, listen.
We gave Nashville too much of the ball.
I understand that. Let me say this, remember, because I was watching the first half. I didn't make it there until the second half because I was working. Yeah. So being able to, I say I was working. I was also watching the match. Our left to right. It felt okay. It felt like our back six, if you want to call it that. We were doing a much better job of holding our shape. Okay. And equal to Nashville was not fast off the ball at all. They were just not, there was no movement. They didn't have this, so we were able to not bunker, but we were just able to stay on the ball. We were able to defend comfortably, and we held them to 0 shots on goal in the first half, and we got a goal. So if you want to kind of look at it from that perspective, that's a decent half of football. And then second half, everything gets turned on its head. Everything gets flipped 180 degrees. And then fuck all.
It was different this time, though, because we scored the goal, not got scored on, and then still dropped off. And that was odd how comfortable we were just kind of being in a mid-block and letting them progress the ball forward and not really going for it. It was odd. We are not the only ones out there who are trying to hold or do hold Garth and ownership accountable.
Not surprising.
BC Bryson, Garth has to go 6 windows into 2 or 3 windows away, and we've only gotten worse. This is his team now, and he has no excuses for the product on the pitch. FC Waffle fired Dyla now. Yeah. I'm
not.
And it also feels
I'm not surprised that people feel that
our playoff system, which is, it's a league structure. We have nothing to do with that, but it allows teams to keep coaches around longer than they need to be because you can still make the playoffs. It allows for too many excuses. FC Waffle.
I don't disagree with that either. That's a very good point.
Let's see who else here. At GG Slavic, first time in a while we looked comfortable. We played very aggressively and had major possession until after the Nashville goal. Disagree there. The possession started to skew Nashville even before they scored, but then it really started to go. So I understand the point being made. We started playing backwards and passively instead of continuously attacking. Yeah, not so much backwards, just kind of being comfortable. Y'all want the ball? Have it. We'll just kind of get worried when you get near our box. I don't think that's the way forward. They still think, GG Slavic thinks it's still a mental problem of, we're up a goal, let's chill. Felt like that.
Yeah, kind of. Well, and, I like what we've got another comment on the face space.
Yeah.
From Tim Steimer. He says, one loss away from becoming a club that needs the wave to get the crowd involved. Tim, I don't disagree with you, man.
I am
think
anti-wave, staunchly anti-wave.
No, but he has a point in that they're losing the supporters. We had a record number of people that did not renew their season passes or season passes.
You're going to have more attrition.
Tickets, last year. And it's, I guarantee you, it is only going to be worse this year unless we can make something of this fucking season.
Yeah.
And it's still possible. It's just not like this.
Oh, I know.
There's still plenty of time. I will say that. There is enough time to make this season something.
Yep.
But I mean, shit, for us to, what was it? 1.83 we need? 1.83 points per game?
Yeah. I haven't confirmed the math on that, but that sounds reasonable.
Right. So that's a draw or better.
Right.
For the rest of the season. That's a big fucking ask. They are not Liverpool.
Well, you don't need a draw or better every game. I mean, if you win, you get 3 points. So you can make up that deficit if you start winning a whole lot.
A draw. But well, you get 1 point.
That's a lot of winning. That's a lot of winning.
I know, but you get 1 point from a draw.
I know.
You get 0 if you lose. Yeah. So you have to get a draw or better.
Not every game. You don't have to get a draw or better every game.
An average.
On average, yeah. And it just doesn't seem like that's going to happen. Lynn Martineau, our friend Lynn, Footy Mob, shout out Footy Mob, also is baffled by this really good 30 minutes and then an inexplicable drop-off. She got the feeling that our team was back. We're back, baby, for at least the first 30 minutes. Seemed to be more of a spark and connection. It was like, okay, I can ride with this. This feels good. And then they became the same old team we've seen all season long.
I think it's, I honestly think, I think it's interesting. I mentioned earlier about being the exception, not the rule. I think that 30 minutes that we played really well and got that goal, that's the exception and not the rule right now. We need to stop saying that we're back. We're not back when we don't really exist.
Yeah, that was an own goal by Garth when he signed Alexi. You know, that wasn't a good thing. Look, it's tough right now. Ashley Williams says this. It's like it's hard being a fan right now. Said this on the Facebook post. It's hard to feel motivated to keep buying my season tickets and making time to go to matches.
Like I said,
she's missing the next 2 Saturday matches and doesn't even care. And that's where I start to get concerned because you lose the fans.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like we become irrelevant.
Well, and I was so sure that having remember I said it so many times in preseason. I said, you get somebody like Miggy back, you're going to put butts back in the seats. And they did for like 3 matches. Because I felt like there was, especially with the first match, even though it was a little bit rocky there towards the end, but I really think I was so sure of it. I was so sure that having, signed this brand new striker and we had Miggy back and like you were really getting to the heart of what people loved so much.
I know.
About this squad, about this team, and about what it means to the city and everything. And then, and then we had Zaha and co, send us into a crap hole when we went away to Charlotte, and that's okay. And I don't even want to say that's where it started because those were 2 very legitimate goals. Again, it was away, and then we come back here, and it was the spike match for me, and it was a very tepid. It was a very tepid 0-0 draw that just I walked away going, what the fuck was that? That was boring again. And that's a big
United
key
exciting
factor is that
again.
you have the diehard supporters. You have the people that are at every single home match in that supporters section, waving those flags with their shirt offs, on the mic, on the megaphones, going for 90 plus every single match. Though you're probably not going to lose many of those people, but all the people on the sides, you know,
I do.
that pay for their tickets match by
Go
match,
on.
they're not going to come anymore.
Real talk.
That's where when I look around the stadium when I'm watching on the TV, that's where I see those empty seats. It's not on either end.
I was actually impressed with the turnout. I thought it would be more empty than it was.
You mentioned
so
that.
Shout out to everybody for coming and not letting this like steal your joy, you know. But it's hard. It's hard right now. Listen, I think before we get into our takes, one more comment here from Instagram. And I do think this is another core problem, getting back to like culture and all that. This is from Mike _2799. Thank you very much, by the way, for the comments. We really appreciate them. This has got to start being on the players, right? No one seems to be.
We said that last week.
One seems to be stepping up as a leader. We talk about leadership all the time. Looks like a lot of individuals running around, and guys hardly pass to Latte around the box. I want to say something about that point specifically about Latte not getting.
Yeah, that's an interesting
not
take.
getting service, and that's true.
Actually.
Also, at the same time, like there's always two things can be true at once, right?
Yeah, sure.
Two perspectives.
Sure. Of course.
He's not there to receive service. I was going to make that a take, but I think it's been a take before of he is involved so much defensively in the build-up, creating chances that even if he was to get service, most of the time he's not going to be in that sort of Joseph position, poacher, ready to head a ball in or chest it down or something like that, because he's deep. And I don't know why that is. I think it has to be for one of two reasons. One, he just doesn't trust that the chances are going to be created, or he's actively seeing it with his own two eyes. Like, okay, I'm here. Shit's not happening. I've got to inject some life into this. So
right, or that he actively sees that they need help.
Yeah,
in the fucking midfield.
It's not.
And
it's
that
not happening.
says a lot too.
It's not happening on the chance creation.
I remember like Adam Jean back in that day.
The Jean days. Yeah.
The Jean days.
He still hasn't got any minutes over at St. Louis, by the way, Mr. Silva. Not yet in 2 games. So,
but he was such a big fella.
Yeah.
If you recall, his job was to just stay central.
Yep.
And basically stay on side long enough to get a ball. And if
he's
we got a corner,
what you would call the target striker.
Gigantic.
Yeah, he's a target guy.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that I necessarily want Latte to do that, but at least we knew that Jean was always there.
Mm-hmm.
He was always where he was supposed to be.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misspoke, by the way. Silva did get 15 minutes in the last St. Louis match. They lost 4-1 to Seattle, so still paying for him. You can't escape it, son.
And Joseph in the early days, honestly, probably in 17, 18, and at least some of 19, we didn't ask a lot of him defensively either. We really kind of wanted him to stay.
That's what I'm wondering. Striker. Are we asking? Like, is the coach asking?
I do. I wonder.
I'm curious. Like, I would love for.
I don't know.
I don't know if any real media members are listening to this. If you could pose that question, I would love to know. Is he being asked to take on that duty, or is he just doing it, or is he disobeying? Like, I'm curious. I would like to know.
It's an interesting question.
Yeah, I would love to know that,
because there were 2 very impressive balls over the top to Mascara last night that he just was not able to do anything with, which is unfortunate. But I wonder, because Latte is taller and more suited to those kinds of over the top balls. Certainly TRA is also. But he just wasn't there. We'd taken him off the pitch at that point too, but I wonder if he had been present for those types of balls, which you mentioned, I think maybe 4 or 5 matches ago. Hey, let's just fucking try it. Try some balls down over the top. And I think we did that. And I think we even scored one. And you were like, hey, holy fucking shit.
But if he's not there, The service, what's the service matter? So, anyhow,
Forgive me, folks.
thank you to everybody on all the platforms out there for
We
commenting
love
and
all your
staying
comments,
involved and
seriously.
interacting and just having a dialogue of positive, non-attacking, but you're frustrated, but we're not going after each other type of conversation.
We're
I'm right
obviously
there with you.
every
Right
single
there
one
with
of
you.
you.
Oh my lord.
Yeah. We all have our own opinions, but I
Yeah.
think we're all feeling extremely similarly when it comes to
Yep.
this right now.
Speaking of own opinions, let's go through these takes real quick, even though I think we've kind of hit on all these points, but briefly here.
And something I think is important to mention, by the way, when you write these, most of the time we're writing them as the game is happening. Like especially if something is glaringly obvious.
And then I usually have to do a big rewrite at the end.
And sometimes that happens. It happened on the first match, actually.
Man, yep.
And it happened in our comeback against.
For sure, it did.
Yeah, that one was a big rewrite.
Furious rewrite.
I, as I mentioned, I didn't get to the match until nearly the 65th minute. But as soon
as
I got
the good parts.
No, I didn't. I saw them on TV.
Oh, you know
that's
what I mean.
I didn't remember. I didn't go there yesterday for them.
Yes, we went for the Unified.
I went for Unified. Yeah. But as soon as I got there, I made sure that the first thing I told you was number 4, and I said, I don't care what you do, make it a take. So I felt it important enough to mention.
Yep, and let's start off with number 4. So apparently, so when the media was at the grounds on Friday, asking everybody, Goose bristled out a question again from Doug Robertson just about camaraderie and things they were doing because he saw some players wearing a pink shirt. He's like, what's that all about? And Goose is like, well, some guys lost at something and had to wear a pink shirt. And Doug was kind of probing, like, lost at what? What's going on? And Goose is like, Doug, come on. Leave it alone. Bet. I guess the thing they lost at was go-karting. Evidently, Ronnie canceled practice on Thursday and took them all to Andretti or wherever, and they all went go-karting.
They went karting.
Yeah.
I don't even know if you call it go-karting anymore.
So
go-karting.
Maybe next week. I don't know.
Laser tag
for everybody. Ice cream.
Yep.
Look, I jest. Poking fun. It's low-hanging fruit. I know, but
yeah, I know. But it's like, what is he doing? Like patting the ball on the back, taking his hand and rubbing it in, scruffing up their hair.
Even Ronnie
and saying,
said,
"Boy,
I'm not much of a go-kart guy." He's just grasping here. It feels like a very desperate move. That's not culture building. I'm all for having fun, but if he thinks that, I got it.
I know what we'll do.
I know culture, go-karts.
No, and I said we were talking about this on our nice leisurely walk back to my car. It's just because he was trying to get everybody to bond, and he was trying to make everybody gel. It's like they needed to do trust exercises and go on like an outward bound kind of thing where somebody's rappelling and the other guy's on the rope. They need to.
I think they need to do more team building stuff. They need to get like to a naked and afraid situation. Like drop these guys off on an island and fight to survive.
There you go.
That's what more we need.
Survivor for soccer players.
But now I'm also kind of curious who won. I want to know who did.
I want to know. I know. We obviously know who lost. But here's the thing, and I think Jennifer was the one who mentioned this. This is not something for the middle of the fucking season, you guys. This is a preseason thing that you do to like.
Did we not do any of this?
Hey, have you met your new midfielder? I know Miggy and Latte Lot came in late.
Did we?
But it's like, this is not the time for that.
Nah, we needed to be doing paintball and all this stuff like preseason to build this. So that's a little concerning.
It's just, yeah.
But,
you know how like when a singer is mostly like a solo artist, but when they go to record an album, they have studio musicians. Mm-hmm. I feel like we've got a whole slew of fucking studio soccer players. Like we hired them in to do a job.
But they're not part of the band.
They're not a band.
They're not a band.
They're not the group. They haven't been on tour together for 6 years.
Yeah.
They haven't put out 4 albums. So look.
Good analogy.
I get that 10 games ago.
Yeah.
You're also fucking professionals.
Look.
So
you're talking about...
get your this is where I'm going to get a little mad. Okay. Get your fucking heads out of your asses and figure out how to play soccer again.
Yeah, figure out how to play with one another. Enjoy it.
I don't care.
Yeah.
What you got to do. I don't really want to hear about any more fucking go-karting outings. I really don't. But what I will say,
Yeah.
I was trying to be the optimist earlier when we were discussing this.
That's me tonight.
Pre-pod.
I'm the one.
At least Ronnie is doing something.
He's doing something.
It feels like he's grasping at straws. We know that. But he's not giving up. He's not telling the media to fuck off at the end of a match.
No,
he's not setting himself up to be fired. He hasn't just fucking thrown in the towel. But it's just another one of those things. I'm like, really? Go-karting? How about
I know.
How about go fucking run some laps until you guys can figure out, how to fucking put the ball.
Well, that might be a concern too. He talks a lot about.
Well, I don't mean that. I mean
but no,
run the bullshit out.
I hear you, but I think it's actually a legitimate concern because he's talked about it so often about that he might have gone too hard and overtrained. Like the guys do look tired, so I am curious if we're getting overworked. But
okay, that is true.
So
that's
I don't know. Another
point.
thing I would like to know.
I asked why Latte looked gassed at 70 minutes.
Well, I know that. It's because he runs everywhere. He's not a traditional 9. He gasses himself. Okay. He gasses himself.
So he needs to fucking stop that. How are we supposed to have a $20 million center forward
that gets tired because he's too involved? Right. Don't know. A lot of questions there.
That's not good. All right. Let's go.
Hook it back first half. Yeah. First half. Look, this is where I have a problem. One goal does not progress make.
No,
it just doesn't. Unfortunately, in the areas that we needed to progress, we didn't. We still had this unexplainable drop off. We still haven't switched the play enough side to side. Like all the things we needed to make progression on, including scoring goals, didn't happen. So I just don't see progress, especially if we go to Chicago and it's bad. Then you're square negative one. So we'll see what happens when we go to Chicago. Miggy playing centrally.
Hold on.
Yeah.
One second before we move on. A quick question. You did a rewatch? Yes.
Painfully.
A couple of them. That goal.
Mm-hmm.
Is that not a foul on the keeper?
Oh, from Nashville's goal?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
No. Our goal. Because Willis goes up for a punch.
Okay.
Right? As he goes up to punch the ball away, Latte runs into his midsection and they both come to the ground. That's how the ball goes back out, then gets brought back in by Saba, and that's why
Willis
wasn't in the goal and why Miggy was able to just poke it in.
Who do you think it's a foul on?
On the keeper, on Willis.
Oh, well, it wouldn't matter. It's a goal.
Well, no, it's if they call a foul on the keeper, then there's no goal.
Oh, saying we committed the foul?
We caught, that Latte
so.
Because of the.
No, I think that's fair.
But they tend to, how in baseball,
keepers get a lot of grace.
It's like the foul goes to the keeper 99 times out of 100. So I was actually surprised that the goal stood and that they barely even looked at it. The only thing they were really looking at was to see if Miggy was onside. I don't pretend to know every single rule. I am also not a soccer referee. That is not my profession.
I think it's a judgment call, and I didn't see anything with it, and I didn't hear. It didn't look like a lot of dissent from Nashville on it. So
it made there wasn't.
Yeah, so
there really wasn't.
I think it's okay.
So maybe I'm crazy and I don't understand the game. I certainly don't understand.
I think it was okay. Anymore. I think it was all right, but it also was not a pass from Brooks, and he said as much. That was a shot. And it just happened to go to Miggy. So, but hey, that's great. I don't care. So Miggy playing centrally, he scored the goal.
Yeah.
He only had one more shot. Created 0 chances.
Yeah.
We thought a lot of people thought, like, hey, play him central. That's going to fix a lot of stuff. It didn't yet.
I think it's still. I do think it's still the right call, but I think Miggy is still. And if they sticks with that, thank you for doing that. But I still think Miggy now needs to find himself and find where he works. I think he's been struggling to figure out where he's supposed to.
Yeah, clearly.
Play, and I mean metaphorically, and I mean also, somewhat.
I understand. Literally. Too.
Yeah, that he's got to figure out where he fits again. 10 matches in. So
yeah, it's almost like we're back at match 1.
We know he can ball. We know that. He's just, I don't think he looks very confident.
Nobody does
right now. Well, sure.
Not even some of our great players from last year, like Pedro. Even though I'm disappointed that we're not using him in pushing, letting him get up the field a bit more because he's a great crosser of the ball. We know this.
Yeah.
He came out of the blue last year and really was a big component to us even sneaking into the playoffs. And he's been great defensively. No issues there. He's put in the work, but we're missing a lot from the attack.
There.
So we'd love to see him get up the field further. And then wrapping up here, I don't know. Can we hang on to be a playoff contention team? Maybe. But we're nowhere near top 4 caliber, and nothing about what's going on right now is likely to change in a way that's going to make us that. So I think the best case going forward, so we all don't lose our minds, is to put that dream aside. Try to not drop too many points and wait for another summer rebuild and hope for, a 6th place, not a play-in spot, but make the playoffs legitimately. I think that's going to save us a lot of mental anguish if we all just accept that is the new goal of this season. The original dream is kind of gone and done, unless that somehow miraculously ignites after the summer transfer window.
Well,
so that's where my head is at, and I think that'll bring me a little more sanity and peace going forward, and I'll be able to feel better about securing a point.
Yeah, I hear you.
I don't want that to sound like I'm acquiescing to mediocrity. I'm not. But we have to. This is where we're at. What are we going to do?
No, I know. But that's what I was going to say is I think that to a degree, it was kind of like how I felt last year, where I made peace with just accepting one game at a time because it allowed me to either be disappointed in the moment, satisfied with a point, or elated with a win. And then I wasn't basing my entire mood on a team that just clearly didn't know where it was going. And I think that unfortunately we're there again. What I would like to see is more effort.
Yeah, I would like to see.
Try to figure out a way to build everybody's confidence up. Yeah. That's the only thing I can really think of with that go-karting trip.
Less negotiating on the non-negotiables.
Sure. And in the summer transfer window.
What did we see at the end of the match yesterday? One last attempt, and Brad is back there with the ball, like urging the guys to get forward for one last Hail Mary. And the keeper shouldn't have to do that. Nobody should have to do that. The players should be going.
But he's not just urging everybody forward. You're talking about that last free kick.
He's like, and nobody's running. Nobody's going.
No, he's not just doing that. He's doing this. Yeah, he's trying to get the crowd into it.
Also, that's fine to get the crowd into it. That's fine. What disappointed me was that he had to remind the guys, hey, there's a minute left. Let's give it a go. No, that's a non-negotiable. That's a non-negotiable fighting for every ball. I can't be negotiating on that stuff. You got to give me at least that. You got to give me that bare minimum.
And if they don't, fucking sit them. If you don't see the effort in that last minute, if you don't see everybody pushing up forward, you know what? Maybe you need to sit out next match.
Jason Longshore calling again. Jason Longshore calling for wholesale changes. He is the most unhot take guy on the planet.
Right. So the last thing I'm going to say, because I think that we're putting too much on Brad to be that guy. I've been saying it for 5 years. We need an infield player as a captain. Okay. It's not just, and it doesn't just have to be the captain because he's the one that can speak the same language as the ref. So he goes up and discusses every foul with him. That's not what I mean. Not just that, but the captain among men, right? The captain, the one who's driving that culture.
Yes.
Not just driving the ball forward or driving the plays, but driving the culture behind it. Brad has been doing a great job of that. But we need someone else too. We need a Dax McCarty. We need what Nashville has. We need a Walker Zimmerman, for fuck's sake.
Yep.
Because that is who that guy is for them.
Yep.
And Honey Mukhtar too.
I think
he's a veteran at this point.
I think he talked about this.
He does a lot. You can see the passion and the confidence and the frustration, in the first half when he wasn't scoring and wasn't doing what he wanted.
Yeah.
But we just don't seem to have that collective passion.
You talked about this on the mixtape pod.
Yeah. So what I want in the summer transfer window is I want that veteran presence. I know we need a left winger, but we kind of have one. if we'd play him. We don't know why, but let's see if that changes. We'll see.
Boy, I
But
just
I
don't
think we
know.
need the veteran. I think we need the veteran midfielder.
Yeah, but you're not
we
gonna.
need to swap out Alexi.
But you're not gonna
Okay.
bring in.
Goodbye.
You're not gonna bring in a guy who's gonna identify with this club and lead in the summer transfer window. That's not gonna happen.
Why not?
Because you just got here. Like that's. I mean, you can bring in a veteran and a work ethic guy.
No, that's what I mean.
But I wouldn't expect that person to be like, "Oh, Atlanta United badge."
I know.
You know what I mean? But
yes.
Veteran leadership for sure. But I don't know if I'd put the weight of that on that person immediately. And that's going to be a hard thing to find veteran leadership and also a baller.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. I get what
you're saying. Especially in the attack.
It's almost two different players. It's almost two different players. Yeah. So I hear you. Yeah. I hear you. But I think far and away, it's time for Alexi to go. It's not working.
It's going to be a very
I'd rather have somebody else. And not Bartosz Slisz either, honestly.
Yeah, it's going to be a very egg and face moment for Garth, I think, to have to do something this summer transfer window, like a record buyout. And that's on him.
He may not
that's
do it.
That's on him. He was here and he's collaborating with Boca. It was both of them when they signed him, and that felt like a panic signing to me. He was hyped this guy up. I think he thought he was going to come in here with some sort of mega mind, soccer IQ, and
no one had ever heard of this freaking guy, and he was trying.
And that's fine. Like, I don't have to hear of a player that could be great. That's not the problem. It's just that we got so far away with Alexi from what this position had been. And I really think Garth thought, he's like, oh, I'm going to hack this. Watch this. Watch this brilliant guy come in and just shock the world. And it didn't. And even though Alexi is better, deeper, and we're happy with that, he was better yesterday. He was. You have to have more out of your DPs. If he was like this $400,000 player that suddenly, him playing a little deeper, that resulted in a little bit better play. Cool, great. But your DPs have to be contributing like on a high level. You can't burn one of those for what we're getting right now. We need more. So it's unfortunate, but it's just is what it is.
Right. And I guarantee you, nobody on the West Coast knows his fucking name. You know what I mean?
Nobody knows any of our players' names. We're irrelevant.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. As DPs, they're the big players. They're the big money-making players. Yes. They probably know who Latte Lath is because he scores.
Yeah, Lexi never shows up on the stat sheet, ever.
That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
Nobody knows who this fucking guy is. He's made zero impact in this league as a DP.
Pretty minimal.
Give me my money back.
Yeah.
So we can spend it on someone else. That's all.
Yeah, I really hate it for everybody.
Somebody else.
I hate it for him too. He's gonna get paid, so got a nice paycheck. He's gonna get bought out. Like, it's fine. Yeah. So he'll be set up for a while wherever he goes. It's not like he's gonna be destitute. He got his paycheck.
I know.
And it's not his fault. It's not his fault, man, that he got signed by a club that didn't fit for him. He's an athlete. He's skilled. He's talented. This isn't it.
Yep.
This isn't it, and was never going to be it. And I said that from day one.
Yes, you did.
From day one, because it was just so obvious to me. And I don't profess to be some professorial, like I can just see through everything and know what's coming.
Doctor.
That one just seemed like really, really obvious to me. And I badly wanted to be wrong, and I wasn't.
A splash he has not made.
Correct. All right.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No.
All right.
It's just game to game, man.
Game to game.
It's just game by game.
Game by game. All right, y'all. Thank you very much for listening. We really appreciate it, and for supporting the entire soccer community, your soccer community, those around you, us, opponents like Nashville and their unified teams, and for supporting 615 and just soccer culture in general with other positive people, not Charlotte. Kick rocks. But I joke. Like it is important. However you've built your community around this thing, don't let it die. Don't let it just go away because the team isn't doing well. We've come too far. We've built too much to let it just kind of, fade a bit. So as hard as it is to be a fan, as our listeners have commented it, and it is,
we gotta stick.
You gotta keep doing it, man. You got to keep doing it. If we can sit here in front of microphones for an hour, y'all can keep doing this too. Keep doing the tifos. Keep showing up at matches. Keep supporting, because it's important for your mental health, and just know that this won't last forever. It's not possible, right?
Right. It's not.
The pause kills me. The pause.
You know why? Because the Vancouver Whitecaps have had how many fucking seasons since Atlanta United has existed? Have Vancouver Whitecaps
have they ever been relevant? Except in maybe the Canadian Cup? Nothing.
Right.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, they're just
about a team that has gotten themselves together.
Boy, have they.
And they are for real.
Boy, are they. It will happen. It will happen here again, too.
For us eventually, too.
So it's coming. So just
something will come. Good.
Endure. As Alfred would say, Dark Knight. Endure, Mr. Wayne. Take it. That's right. So we will just keep taking it, and we're not leaving. We're not leaving. All right, we will be back. In a week's time, after visiting our friend Andrew Gutman up in Chicago. And we go take on the Berhalters and see what happens there. We haven't had much luck in Chicago, but where have we had luck?
No, we don't have good luck in Chicago.
No, we don't have good luck.
All right.
Alrighty, guys.
Well, we'll figure
thanks,
it out.
as always. Us, FanTV, Mason Mill, all of it. They all appreciate your support and love, and we appreciate it too. We will be back in a week's time. Until then, y'all be good. We will be back.
How?
Braves win. Braves win.
That's right.